I still remember the exact sound the floor made beneath my feet that night. A soft creak. A warning I ignored. If I had turned around in that moment, if I had chosen silence over curiosity, my life would still be intact. My husband would still look at me the same way. My home would still feel like a sanctuary instead of a crime scene of my own making. But I didn't turn around. I opened the door. And in that single breath between hesitation and action, everything I believed about myself shattered. My name is Claire. I was 36 years old, living in a quiet suburb outside Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The kind of neighborhood where lawns are trimmed evenly. Neighbors wave politely, and nothing ever seems to happen. I had what most people would call a stable life. A decent house. A husband with a steady career. A stepson finishing his first year of college. From the outside, we looked normal, comfortable, safe. But comfort can be deceptive. It can siete l'honneur. Mark, my husband, traveled often for work. Sales, conferences, client meetings, out-of-state contracts. At first, I admired his ambition. Later, I tolerated it. Eventually, I resented it. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just in the small ways resentment grows, in untouched dinner plates, in conversations that feel rehearsed, in nights that stretch too long. I filled my evenings with routine, baking, cleaning, streaming shows. I barely watched. Gardening even when the soil didn't need tending. Anything to avoid sitting still with the realization that I felt invisible in my own marriage. Logan was 19, tall, athletic, confident in that effortless way young men often are. He had his father's jawline but none of his restraint. He moved through the house like it belonged to him. Headphones draped around his neck. Gym bag slung over his shoulder. Laughter always just a little too loud. We were polite with each other, distant, careful, until the night I opened that door. It had been raining. A steady spring storm tapping against the windows. Mark had called to say his flight was delayed. He wouldn't be home until the next evening. I remember feeling that familiar dip in my stomach, not anger exactly. Just emptiness. I went upstairs earlier than usual. As I passed Logan's room, I heard something, not clear words, just a strained sound. For a split second, I thought he might be hurt. That instinct likes to check, to make sure he was okay, is what pushed my hand to the door. I didn't knock. What I saw wasn't an emergency. It wasn't danger. It was something private. Something I should have backed away from immediately. I looked up. Our ages met. And instead of panic or embarrassment, there was something else in his expression. A challenge. A curiosity. A boldness that unsettled me. I should have closed the door. Ik notat. I replay that moment constantly. But I didn't. Primera frase. Time stretched thin between us. I could feel my pulse in my ears. My body